But anyway, I love smallmouths. You know, I came from the West. It's not necessarily known as a great smallmouth area, but it does have smallmouths. I think I fell in love with smallmouths mostly because of Lake Erie, because of the Great Lakes, because of the size and the numbers you can catch there. So, show of hands, how many people in here consider themselves more of a smallmouth fisherman than a largemouth fisherman? That's what I thought. Pretty good group here, so that's good to hear. Now, in tournament situations, if I have my choice to go catch largemouths or smallmouths, I 99.9% would go fish largemouths. Very consistent, you know, call the shots with them, very, you know, that good. But fun fishing, or only if you have to, smallmouths, you know, you go to some fisheries, you're not going to do any good unless you catch smallmouth. So that's, I think, where we went on this deal. And I went with old school versus new school because I grew up fishing smallmouths a certain way. And in the last 5 to 10 years, I mean, I've changed a lot about it. Not to say the old techniques don't work, not to say that new techniques are better. They're just different. I think you've learned that there's a lot of ways to catch bass, and so the more ammunition you have in your pouch, you know, the better you got at catching them. I mean, you know, my first experience with that was there was a dude standing on the bank at a U.S. Open, and I was going to go out practicing, and he was just standing there wanting to go out. He was a co-angler. And he's from Japan, spoke no English, none. I said, hey, yeah, jump in the boat, let's go. So we took off, we went fishing on the day, and I'm like the drop shot guy, you know. I'm like, I know this drop shot stuff. And I took him to one of my favorite stretches of Lake Mead, and he's got his little drop shot rigged up, and I pitch up on the rock, nothing, and fish around, nothing, and he throws behind me and catches one, 1.5 pound, 2 pounder. He's pretty lucky, you know. And two or three casts later, he catches another one behind me. 2 or 3 casts, he catches. I mean, he's catching them every time. After I throw, he's throwing the same thing in there and catching a bass. And I'm like, you know, come on, what's wrong here? You know? And I go, what you doing? He goes, 2 pound fluorocarbon. 2 pound test? Are you kidding me? I had 6 pound test. I'm like, what's the big deal? 6 pound. I mean, I can barely see it. I can barely tie it. No, 2 pound. I mean, fish were jumping and breaking his line. That's how light this stuff was. And he was getting twice the bites I was. So I never want to discount finesse. I never want to do that. But I always opt for, you know, I'd rather get him in the boat, you know. I'll go 6, 8. If I can get away with 8, I'll go with 8, you know. But yeah, definitely have it in your mind if you're fishing a pressured lake for smallmouths. Hey, I might have to downsize that line a little bit. I might have to. So this year, right, I found out they have stuff called Goby oil, right? I don't know if you've seen it, but it's not necessarily ground up gobies, but it's made from gobies, and it's like goby juice. And guys, the smallmouth guys I know from Minnesota and some of the northern places go, man, if you got gobies, don't be spraying crawfish stuff, all that. You need goby juice. So I searched high and low. I went and drove, met this guy. It was like a drug deal gone bad. I drove to his house, and he had just little cans of goby oil, you know? And I'm like, I bought a couple cans. I bought one for my roommate, Skeet. I'm like, dude, look at this stuff, man. This is good. And you had to mix it up, and you had to get it warm. You had to put it in, you had to get it warm. It was like a paste, and you got it warm, and it turned into like something soft. So you'd both mix your baits with it and put it inside your baby bug, you know? And man, I was going to dominate the smallmouth series this year because of the goby juice stuffed up into my biffle bug. And, you know, I had good success. I got checks in both tournaments. I did well. And this is the last one, or the one we were going to talk about last time, spy baits for smallmouths. I talked about putting them on bait casts, talked about how you need to have a little more leverage with these baits, okay? The one thing about a spy bait, this again goes back to the finesse versus smallmouths. To me, either want it moving as fast as you can move it, or they want it barely moving, okay? There's no in between. A regular steady retrieve with a crankbait or anything else on a smallmouth, probably not really interested. They'll follow it. But if it's super, super slow on a tube or whatever, or on a spy bait, or it's super, super fast, you got a shot at catching them, okay? So extremes. And this is the slow extreme, okay? If you really just want to hook them, you know,
I hope you enjoyed the preview clip. And for more like that and the entire collection, subscribe to the Bass University TV. And if you want the tackle that you see on there, I want you to go to the Bass University Tackle Shop, powered by Tackle Warehouse, and click right here, and it's all at your fingertips.
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Glusek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.